Actual actions, excuses are useless. He rues his inaction, awaits satisfaction. The status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the app sickness, daily practices rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis with lengthy game analysis. With sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. Now occasionally, he peeps the world of the tweet and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing while he's dojo training. Hours a day playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board vision. Transition from poser to player, focus without a care. He leaves them complaining in his dust, staying with their week-old ratings. Blast past his week-old rating, each week's a new occasion. He never takes vacation, the work is entertaining, the growth he's maintaining. And now Joe is explaining, hey, don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Welcome to the dojo.
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin. Who cheated who, which engine that he hacking. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Truong. He's got lightning attacks on GM, Blunders, and gaffes. True, not over the board, it's only the other chat. Still, his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction, awaits satisfaction. The status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the app sickness, daily practices rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis with lengthy game analysis. With sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. boxes, young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. Now occasionally, he peeps the world of the tweet and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing while he's dojo training. Hours a day playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board vision. Transition from poser to player, focus without a care. He leaves them complaining in his dust, staying with their week-old ratings. Blast past his week-old rating, each week's a new occasion. He never takes vacation, the work is entertaining, the growth he's maintaining. And now Joe is explaining, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need you, if Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need you, if Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Welcome to the dojo!
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine did he packing. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong, he scored a like from Truong. He's got lightning attacks on GM, blunders and gaffes, true not over the board, it's only the other chap. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he brews his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need you, Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need you, if Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the app sickness, daily practices rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis with lengthy game analysis. With sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigy.
All right, my friends, here we go. The famous grad show. Tactics and Swindles says this song is hard. It's very hard. Very hard. Okay, so what do we got? We got a long show today. I don't think we're going to finish. That's okay. If I don't finish, I'll just do the rest tomorrow. Fine. First of all, we're going to look at McGrog. What does McGrog have to say? ChessCom Rapid Slang just joined kind of recently. Might not have any business going on. We're going to fix this My Games thing. I say that every time. So McGrog, welcome to the dojo. Hopefully you can do something with your heat map there. Log some stuff and give us a game. Next up, we got Cole. Also joined fairly recently. Most people in the lower cohorts joined kind of quick. Recently, not quick. I know clubs. We got any games? Nothing. It's normal. It's okay. He's done a little bit of work, but we want him obviously to do some and to give us a game to look at. Next up, we got Sawbones. Dem Bones. Oh, I didn't mean to do it that way. Here's an interesting thing I learned. The word bonfire is originally from the word bonefire, like when you cremated somebody, bud. So you get a big old fire, put the bones in. Yeah, buddy. So, lifelong chess enthusiast, over 50 guy is now a proud adult improver. Okay, great. You can see he's done a bunch of tactics. Yeah, he's working on it. And it's beautiful that that work paid off. Look at that, 340. Nice, very nice indeed. We're going to look at some clubs. I'm part of that 50 plus. And e-board club, great. So, games. My games. He's got a Blunder Games folder. Oh, Sawbones. Sawbones. Well, he just joined. Doing some good work. Hopefully next time in his next graduation, we'll see some games from the Sawbones. Next up, we have the famous John McCarthy. Why is John McCarthy famous? Because I've looked at his profile before. Okay, without reading it yet, I want to say I looked at the profiles, many profiles of people who've done a lot of work and haven't graduated yet. I remember looking at John McCarthy, so it's really great to see this graduation. Okay, some graduations are better than others. Okay, so here we go. John McCarthy says, this moment has been a long time in the making. Not graduation are better than others, just like some are more hard-earned than others. I joined the program in the summer of 24, but after some tough losses, I went to a big mental block where I ended up spending 90 to 95% of time studying instead of playing. After I opened up on my struggles on the Discord channel in the spring and Sensei Cry highlighted me and the road, that's why I remember, because I did the video on him. Road to 500 ELO video, I realized it was time to step up and play more. Between my tactics scores and going on a good run on Lead Chess Classical, I switched my preference and saw the option to claim this badge. I feel it'll be good to get more assignments to tackle and hope it will spill over in my game play over down the road. Really enjoyed the program, the work, and the streams so far, and can't wait to keep going. Thanks for all the help so far. Beautiful. So one of the things that I discussed even in the video is, the whole idea of the program when we started ages ago was that if you are at a plateau, what we're saying is that if you do everything in the program, in your cohort, all the requirements, that you'll make it to the next level. Now, most people at the lower cohorts, they do a couple things and they're like, bam, I went up. Some people, though, it's going to be harder. And what I saw with John was that we didn't have enough, right? That he was like, I remember him doing other things, yada, yada. Hopefully my video helped. But for us as a constructive criticism, I feel, is that our program didn't work for him because when he didn't make it, he was basically done with all of the things, right? And that's no good. Here we go. A marathon runner, lifting heavy things, concept 2 rowing enthusiast. Okay, this is really cool. Now you can see, my friends, look at this. The man is working. The man is really working. And normalize, he's suddenly 834. This is really weird. And then over here, ChessCom, he's 218. So I think what happened was he switched to Lead Chess and then suddenly had a graduation. Now, normally I would say, hey, you're in the wrong cohort. But I see what happened here. That he was working here and didn't make it here, but did make it here. The Lead Chess ratings are weird, we got to say. Okay? They're very weird. So, maybe Joe, we'll see how it goes. The lower, because it's weird because Lead Chess starts you off at 1500 as we see here, right? Okay, clubs. So all this thing, by the way, of all the clubs, the one that makes the most improvement by far is lifting heavy things. Okay, you could say it's coincidence, but there's 34 members in there, and those people are graduating like madmen. Games. All right, here we go. My games. He's got a recent one. Let's go check this one out. Oh, I remember PLNR. He also graduated fairly recently. Let's do a clock check. Ba-bam. Ooh, very nice time graph, as you can see, from both players. From both players. So, fantastic. And I'm gonna claim that the dojo helped them in this regard. And already, like, the level of their play is going to be so much higher if they can dial this in. Most of their opponents, especially the randos they meet online, are going to be playing boom, 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 not using their time. Okay, brilliant. Let's go to game review. Oh, and I got to fix this. Every stream, I got to fix this little thing here. Boom. Boom. All right, great. So, fine. Okay. You're doing fine. Check the miserable king. Okay, and now knight e5. Interesting. Maybe, it's moving a developed piece twice, so in principle, we don't like it. Bishop g5 is a good move. Okay. Now, what I'm concerned with here, Mr. MacArthur, is that you have made two moves that didn't develop. A3 and knight e5. This is a good move, though, right here. Bishop f4, good. Rook e8, and now a spicy decision. Could you do anything? You say, no, I believe you. I don't think you can. E3, good move. A6, why is it poor? Because it's not developing. C4, why is it poor? Because you're not developing. So what should you be doing? You should be playing a move like bishop e2. Okay? Develop. Probably a frisky move. Now and why is this all of a sudden trouble? Because you didn't develop. And now all kinds of terrible things are happening to us. All kinds of terrible things. F6 looks good. That doesn't help him, though. Okay, bishop f5. Let's play bishop e2. Let's develop. Good. G6. Now that wasn't good. Notice he's losing a tempo when he plays g6. Rook b1. And you say, the first moment where my focus and concentration faltered, and I essentially blundered two pieces at once. Right, so what he's talking about is this. Now, can we just say, before we talk about the blunder, I need you to castle. I need, muy importante, to castle, and the easiest would be to take this bad boy first and then to castle. But we gotta be castling. We can't be playing this fancy stuff. So, one of the reasons, I get it, you hung the rook, but one of the reasons it happened, important to see, is because you're not developing. All right? Knight e5, poor move. He should have just taken the rook on b1. Rook b7, poor move. You got to be taking the knight back, and then you can move the rook, and you'll only be down a pawn. He's very fancy. And now, could you play de? You could. Yeah, de. Who knows what's going on after de? So now we're again hanging our stuff. Thank you for castling. However, why can't you take the knight? After saying all this time that I wanted you to castle, here I really need you to take the free piece. Blunder. Thank you. Who knows? Now you got bishop h5. Good move. Rook takes c7, please. Queen c4 is also okay. Rook e5 wasn't it. Check to the miserable king. Check to the miserable king. Oh, beautiful. Check to the miserable king. Mech, mate. Okay. That, I feel, higher rated players might look at that and be like, they're blundering all the time. No, that's not the point. At this level, there will be blunders, okay? And it takes a while. I say this on every grad show. In all of the under 1,000 cohorts, it takes a while before you have the board vision, the grip on the board to not hang your stuff, okay? And both sides are going to do it. If you look at any game from this level, and the cohorts above it, you will see people hanging stuff. And so Three things. I always say this every grad show for the really the under 1,200 cohorts. Most important, vision, grip on the board. Don't hang your stuff. Number two, using your time. These guys nailed it with the time. And number three, develop your coconuts. Both sides here did not develop their coconuts. Developing your coconuts is the easiest of those three skills to learn, right? Because you get into a situation like this and you say, Cry's not going to want me to play knight e5. He's going to want me to develop some of my coconuts, right? You get a situation like this. Instead of playing a3, you say, wait, Cry's going to want me to develop one of my coconuts. And maybe you'll play bishop f4 or e3. You got to play a pawn move to get this guy out, right? And that's how things get hard. And then later, you do things like c4 and blah, blah, blah. No, I need you to play bishop b2 in castles. Okay. Here we go. So, boom, 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 boom. We're going back. That was John McCarthy. Congratulations. We'll go grad show. Next up, Scrattalat. Scrattalat. What's going on with Scrattalat? Just joined the dojo. Had some good gains. Let's see what's going on. No clubs yet? Do we got some games? No games. Okay. So, he's just joined. He'll get some games going on pretty soon. Let's actually just make sure that when this rapid isn't, let's just see the time control on this thing. Time control. Yeah, that's too fast. And also we want a little bit more on the annotations. So Scrattalat, hopefully you'll get, minimum time control for this cohort is 30-0. So we want a game of that level and then annotated. But welcome to the dojo. You already have a good start. Next up, we have Damon. What does Damon say? 418. Also just joined, has done some tactics, looking pretty good. Already graduated a second time. I look at the clubs, sometimes I get a sense of who they are through their clubs. No game. So Damon, I can tell you're focusing on your tactics. That's great. Let's go see what you've done actually with the tactics real quick. Look at this beautiful training program he's got. He's done some mate in ones. Beautiful. Has done everyone's first chess workbook. Fantastic. Fantastic. So while I want you to put some games in, those two activities are absolutely fantastic for you to do it. And you achieved the puzzle rush score of 19. Even did better than that. So well done. Okay. Next up, we have Adam Riley Parker. Ba-boom. So, also just joined. Looking good. And he's done a little bit, played some classical games and analysis. Let's go take a look. Chicago. I'm in this one, the Chess Dads and Moms. So we're going to look, my games. No games. Now, it's a little weird. I'm really upset, actually, by how our UI is encouraging people to put it to not put it in my games. The games, my friends, need to go in my games. Okay, but this is not an annotation. Adam just joined, so hopefully we'll get some good games going on with Adam soon. Right? Great. Next up, we got the famous Robot Bender. Robot Bender said, my chess journey began a year ago and has been full of trials and setbacks. I spent times on openings, Blitz, Judith Polgar's tactics books, which led me into the awkward situation of having a 600 ELO in rapid, but a 2600 rating in puzzles. Okay. Looking back, I see the dojo approach as the answer. I should have played more slow games and analyzed them afterwards. Brilliant. Now, he has done a bunch of tactics. And by the way, like, if you're at this level and you enjoy doing the tactics, I mean, that's a beautiful thing. And I don't know what 2600 on Chess.com means. Those ratings seem to be kind of strange. But if you improve your tactical score at this level, it will eventually translate into a rating. Okay, So let's go look. Clubs. Berlin. There we go, buddy. 5 members. I think I begged for this because I was like, I want the people in Germany. There's a big German club to do their local club so they can meet and hang out. And even more specifically, I know that in Berlin and in a lot of other big German cities, there's more than one club to have their own club, get a dojo where multiple people, if you got them in that club, then they can train together and do everything they need to do. Games for the robot bender. My games. We got one. This is Bobnip. So, all right. The obvious mistake was the time management and playing too fast. Let's take a look. There it is. Very typical. As I mentioned, the first game we looked at with that amazing time graph was the exception to the rule. This is a little bit more typical, very typical. In fact, I would say at this level, it's often, usually even faster than this. The slower you play, the less blunders you're going to make, and that's what is going to decide games at this level. Okay, here we go. Game review. Ba-boom. We're going to go. Oh, not that one. There we go. Boom. So, fine. Fine. And then blunder. D3 is better. Good. Okay. Okay. You write about bishop b4. I understand that. But knight f6, he's still holding his pawn. Okay. I like that you're developing, by the way. Frisky move, because now you're going to hang the pawn on e4. Queen e2. Here we go. Bishop f5. Maybe. That's getting kind of frisky. Bishop d3. He needs to find queen e7. And so let me stress here, I think the right move would be castles to, as quickly as possible, put a rook on this line. Once we get the rook on the line, we're at least going to be asking some serious questions. And now we're in danger of the queens coming off, which we really can't have. Castles, and now, from a practical point of view, black should definitely take so that they can get the queens off and simplify their life. He should still be doing it, so a3, isn't it? We should play rook fe1. Now he does it, unfortunately. Boom, 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 boom. We're rook d5. And so now we're lost, okay? But that's just at a GM level. We're lost because we're down 2 pawns. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's, quite so horrendous. I don't think FG is going to save you, by the way. Yeah, looks fine. That's weird. Now let's play a rook on e1. Okay, fine. I'm going to steal a pawn. Good, I like it. Are you getting after him? Okay, great. No one knows what he's doing, right? No one knows. Take that pawn, thank you very much. Rook f8. And now you play knight h6. And you talk about rook fe1. Good. Now, I just want to say, I don't think knight h6 is a blunder. Excuse me, it is. I didn't see it either. I was like, this rook move was so strange. I was like, I didn't even see this thing. All right, so we blundered this thing. His opponent didn't see it, though. And now he sees it. And now he does this. And it looks like we're toast. And you say, I did not see the right defensive move. Honestly, I don't know if you have a defensive move here. If I was in this position, I'd probably play f4 too. What do you want to do? Romantini, I will show in the next time we look at that graph what the different lines mean. So, I don't know what you're supposed to do besides f4. So, fine. Check. King f2. Snip. And now you got, it's an interesting situation. Because now you have these connected passed pawns. And on rook c1, all you really need to do is play bishop d3. This is a mistake because, well, maybe it's, well, yeah, because I'm worried about this coconut here. It's going to fall with check after, let's say, king d8, rook d7, king e8. It's going to fall with check. But he misses it. And I really want you to play bishop f5, and you write about it. Notice that if we had defended it here, this rook f8 thing wouldn't necessarily be on the table for him. Okay, king e2. And now he gets to take all our stuff. By the way, he should definitely play rook takes g6 here. b6. g7. Rook e3. Oh, big time blunder. Big time blunder. 9 seconds is not enough here. Yep. So if we go back to the time and just show grad show window, we can see that he's in a critical situation right here with king c4 and is not going to think and usually, let me just stress, people at every level, you're going to be a little exhausted from the battle, okay? And a lot of times it will just seem impossible to think, all right? But obviously, all black has to really do here is spend like 5 minutes, and the easy way to play chess, of course, is just to take the pawn. So b6, g7, complete blunder. Boom. Thank you very much. And so, Robot Bender, let's just say you can be unhappy with yourself in this game. But remember, at this level, people are going to hang their coconuts. And the reason I think we can say you won this game is simply because you took more time than your opponent, right? You were hanging stuff too. You were hanging stuff too. But just, you spent a little bit more time. Okay, what is the blue lines and everything? Blue is black. White is white in terms of their time usage. Green is the suggested time usage, the perfect time usage. And the dotted line is simply where in the game we are. So if I back it up, you can see, actually it didn't move. It didn't move, hold on. Well, how come my line didn't move? Maybe if I refresh. So yeah, if I take any point and I go time, you can see, right, I can back it up and then we get this line. That's just showing what the status is at any given point, and I can scroll over it. Also, if you do an evaluation, like let's say at some point you say you're winning and then it goes to better for you, yada, yada, you can overlay this evaluation. But here our guy Robot Bender didn't do any evaluations. So yeah, that's its other line that we can put in there. Okay, beautiful stuff. Let's go back. That was Robot Bender. Congratulations. I think Robot Bender, has seen the light and we're gonna see him again soon. Next up, we got 8-1 Echo. 8-1 Echo. That's a fun name. I don't know what it means. So here we go. 505. Also just joined, looking good. No clubs, and we got at least one game. Let's see. Oh, this is terrible. Oh, this is the dojo's fault. We have so many different projects, but we're getting killed with the my games. We're just getting killed. And so we got to talk about it again and again and again at our meeting. All right. You guys, when you do a game, it's going to default to putting it into your my games. That's where it belongs. All right, here we go. No time in this game. Now, if it's an online game, which it looks like it is on chess.com, you just need to take that PGN with the timestamps. Make sure you have the timestamps. Ooh, and we actually have a problem. This is a 10-minute game. Yeah, it's a 10-minute game. So we need to at least play a 30-minute game. 8-1 Echo, I understand. You're new to the program and yada, yada. But that's what we need just to look at it. Because to really study a game, you want to spend some time on it. And if you're going to spend some time on it, you want to spend time on a game that you spent time on. Right? Now, you can think about your thinking process. Okay. Thank you, Quad XC. Next up, we got JW. And he has also joined recently. 516. Looks like he's done a bunch of games and analysis. Joined just like 2 weeks ago. So you join the dojo, your rating goes up. That's the way it works. Okay, looking good. Let's go clubs. Detroit. Oh, okay. 9 in Detroit. Nice. Okay. In the 50 plus with me. We got a huge 50 plus crew over here. Games. Ba-boom. Oh, JW. Now, I just want to stress, if you're new to the program, you might have done some game analysis, but then forgotten to hit save and publish. And again, the default will be to my games. That's the way we've got it set up. There's all kinds of files you can build, but the most important one for any chess player, whether you're part of the dojo or not, is this little file called My Games. That's where all your business needs to go. Okay, bye-bye. D. Russ done some good work and says, I was originally in a group that was too high for my level, so I dropped down a few cohorts, wanted to make sure I wouldn't drop again, so played it quite safe and probably dropped a little too low. Nevertheless, there were some useful drills at this level, and it's good for my confidence to know I'm now headed in the right direction and shouldn't have to drop down again. Okay, great. 684. 40-year-old, learn how to play as a kid. Looking great. So, yeah, joined the dojo. Dropped actually a little bit. And you can see the Elite Chess. I think the Elite Chess rating system is so strange. I think the Elite Chess rating system for the lowest cohorts might be the strangest, because you start off at 1500. Who knows why Elite Chess does that? Nobody knows. In any case, you can see a huge discrepancy. We saw that in one of the earlier dojoers on this show too. Okay. Will you read comments? I'm reading your comment now, Panda Chess. So, clubs. Nothing. Games, D. Russ. Let's see what we got. So, good. Here we go. And let's look at the time. 30 plus 20. The timestamps aren't recorded. Remember, when you're doing this online, you can bring this in. Okay. Good. Let's go game review. So notice for this cohort, 30 plus 20 is actually a little higher than necessary, but that's fine as long as you meet the minimum. Poor move, yeah. So this move illustrates why trying to play openings when my knowledge of the game isn't strong enough can lead to problems. I remember seeing this move played somewhere in a Caro-Kann course, but this definitely was not the right time to play it. Yeah, and you talk about knight f6. The whole idea of the Caro is to get this pawn here and say snip, right? That's the whole idea. So DE4. But just in general, right, if you just focus, forget opening names and yada yada, just focus on playing developing moves, even knight f6 would be so much better than h5. g6 would be so much better than h5. Okay, so h3. he's like afraid of something. h3. Okay, he should definitely play e5. All right, let's take on e4. Good. Now you're doing fine. Fine, fine. Check to the knight. Good. Okay. e6. Bishop e7. Knight f5. Queen a5. Exclam. And maybe you had seen this in some course, because this is a typical idea in the Caro. So much better than e5. ef5. Good. 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 Now you're playing good chess. So besides the h5 move, you've been putting together a good game. g4, can't be right. hg, hg. Queen h7, good move. g5, poor move. Why is it a poor move? Because he's not developing his coconuts. Okay? Now, when they don't develop their coconuts, that's when you got to say, hey, I think Christ says I'm going to be winning this game. And so, for example, knight e5, you cannot recapture because of the rook. If rook takes, you play bishop d6, and we're looking at Matos for Dr. Tato's over there. So definitely knight e5, bishop d6, it's game over. g6, weird. What are we doing? f4, no one knows. They're not developing their pieces. Weird. Snip, snop. Snip, snop. So he's taking all your stuff, and what he should be wary of is that he doesn't have any development. So you don't like queen h3. Very important for you to tell us what you think you should have done. I, for example, think c5 is interesting. I want to activate this rook. Okay. Interesting. Check to the queen. Check to the queen. And I like king f7 or h7. And notice, he should not be stealing your coconuts. He should be thinking about protecting his man. Good move. Uh-oh, we didn't like that. Now, what did I want? Something like queen h7. Rook f6. I don't get it. Put your rooks in the center. Open the rooks up to fight. Now he's finally developing. He could have taken on c5. That's also a strong move. I don't understand that move. Bring your people out. Okay, we're making random moves, my friends. We are making random moves. After c7, we'd be lost because rook b8 comes next. Now we get to take. Woo! Okay. So we got ourselves an endgame. Here is where I would really like to see the timestamps. A lot of times in Dojo land at this level, we have people moving too fast. At a GM level, I would say this is a very interesting endgame. Very interesting endgame. If it were just rooks on the board, it would be a draw. But with the bishops on, well, then that's a terrible move, letting the king out. That doesn't do anything. Rook f6, it makes me nervous. King g5 made me more nervous, but okay, rook e6, king f5. And king d3 is a terrible move because now the rook is blocking the king from coming over. White king must come over to help shepherd the pawn down the side of the board. I wanted king g6 there, active. Okay, now you have rook d6, my friend. Okay, I like that, I like that, I like that. Good. Yeah, very patient. Just go back and forth and tell him you got nothing. There we go. Good. I thought your finish, Mr. Bales, you truly bailed. You bailed? That was pretty good. Okay, Mr. Bale. What we want to say about this game is, and this applies to basically everybody in the under 1200 cohorts, you can win these games when your opponent does not develop their coconuts. The second they don't develop, you start thinking about how to punish them. Okay? So, for example, here, this is not developed. Your queen is looking at this stuff. You play here, 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 and you say, there's no way you're going to survive this. No way, buddy. I'm going to waste you over here. Okay? All right. Well done. Nice. I like the way you held the end game. It was very patient holding the e-file. So, next up, we got Emilio. Emilio Melendez. We're going to hit this grad show button. I've been doing this show for years, my friends. 4 years. Emilio has done great progress, joined the dojo. Well, a lot of people today were just new joiners, so that's a nice thing to see. No clubs. We got some games. No, he just joined. He just joined. Okay, so welcome to the dojo, Emilio. We're going to see some more of this beautiful heat map of yours and some games coming up soon. Next up, we got Doc TT. I appreciate that this holds me accountable and breaks me out of my own box to focus on the training plan. It's been great so far. Okay, let's go give a look. Also crushing it. 138-point game. Look at that. Okay, well done. And yeah, also a new joiner. So it's great to see the early progress from 692 people in this Adult Improver Dojo. Amazing. Games. Wabam. Here we go. This one's pretty recent. Babam. And let's see, do we got a timestamp? Oh, we do. So we want to just say you did significantly better than your opponent. This is very standard where you're going to play somebody moving too fast, right? Very standard. You could have done better with the thinking. We might return to this graph as we go down the game. Beautiful. Weird. Good. Good. Weird. I don't know what to do for white, though. A3, weird. Not developing. Fine. Fine. Weird. Knight H4 now. Good. Queen's developed. You're doing great. I don't like it. Spend some time, honestly fearful of queen traps, so moved again. Okay. I understand the fear, by the way, but what is correctamundo? You play bishop e7, you castle, and then you maybe play f6 or something. You got a lot of options. But we need to develop our people. Again, I wanted bishop e7. Got to develop our people. Good move. Terrible. Bang! That's welcome to the dojo. Now, if this guy had moved a little slower, maybe it wouldn't have happened like that. You say thank you very much. Fine. Thank you for developing your bishop. I want you to castle. I want you to castle and put a big fat rook here. I want you to castle and put a big fatty rook. Good. Okay, fun. Terrible move. Good move. Good move. Good move. Good move. Simple chess. Let's go rook h1 check. Oh, yeah. Instead of the rook, he wants to give the queen. There we go. That's the way it is. So, you guys, when you think about winning at this level, think about this game. The guy hung his coconuts, played too fast, didn't develop their stuff. That's what you're going to see again and again. And you just need to milk that until you get to a higher level. And then they won't do it anymore, right? There's a reason this person is rated low. And this is just a simple template, this game, of how you get to the next level. Okay? All right. Let's get out of here. We'll go grad show. Do this, poppity pop. And next up, we have Tall Hall. Tall Hall. Tall Hal. Tall Hall. I don't know. Tall Hal. Lives in St. Pete, 48 years old, young man. Started playing 2024. Not improving, was frustrating. So started puzzling a bit, as well as going to local club. Heard about the dojo a few times on a podcast, and thought I'd give it a shot. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Let's see if there's a St. Pete club. Now, Tall Hal, I have a request. If you could do a St. Pete club, oh, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Okay. So as you can see, he's doing some good work, a lot of tactics, and in the 700, 800 cohort. So, ba-bam. Nothing. Well, Tall Hal, we know what you need to do. You need to do some games. Really enjoy you being here. Pretty soon you'll be part of the 50-year-old club, and then you'll be truly a champ. All right, let's go Galaga Rex here. People don't know about Galaga. The millennials don't know about Galaga. So, in Philly, we'll see if he's in the Philly club. Just started. Looking pretty good. Epic gains for just here being here a little bit. Clubs. Let's go Philly. There we go. There's a couple Philly clubs, by the way. There's like a mainline club. And so there's a couple ones. Maybe we need to consolidate the Philly clubs. Romantini says he's a beast at Galaga. A true beast. Games. My games. Oh, I have a bad feeling he put weird stuff in this here. What's going on here? Oh, man. Okay, so Massive Attack. Galaga, we need to put it in the my games. So, now, the first thing we want to say before we go deep into this is at this level, he is studying all kinds of fancy Berlin stuff, and he's got files. Nah, but he's in the 607 cohort. Dojo Way says, don't worry about that. Just develop. Because as we've seen, the games are not decided by some opening stuff at this level. They're not decided by the Bavavik variation, as we see in the notes here. Okay, it's just not. So put the games in the my games. Forget about the openings for a little bit. Trust me. Just trust me. We need also put in the clock times would really help. And we're going to go game review here. Ba-bam. So, okay, 95. Good. Castles. So notice, he's just going to gift you a pawn now. You, however, are going to gift him back a pawn. So here we need to do a little thinking and come up with the fact that when you take here, your opening is giving him a free developing move, and you're going to hang this coconut, and you're going to open up his queen. So what was correctamundo? You take, and then you play d3, and you say, guess what? I'm up a pawn. I'm up a pawn. Black has a little compensation, by the way, but it's just such a strong central pawn that we got to like white. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Openings don't help if we're going to play knight c6. Okay, now black's better. d3. And he plays knight f6, but he should very much consider knight takes f2. There's a lot of juice going on there with knight f2. Tricky. And you play bishop f6, and he does this very strange gf6. And I'm going to say he does it because he's obsessed with f2. Even though on queen takes f6, he would still be looking at f2. Good move. Looks like a mistake, 94. Now he plays bishop e6. But the question would be, could he mess with you on rook e4? The answer, I think, is no, because you could play c3, right, before anything wild happens. But that's a big thing to consider. A little bit more circumspect would be to play queen d2 and then put a rook on e1. You take his bishop. Good. I don't mind that. A little weird, but okay. I want you to play something like c3 and rook e1. Queen d2, rook e1. Because, see, now he owns the e file. Check to the miserable king. Terrible. What should he do? He should take and play rook e2. Full compensation because the pig's on the 7. Weird. But at least now I guess you, on rook e2, you could play rook f2. Weird. Snip. Snop. Okay, we really need to play rook f2. Good move. Rook e2. Rook d1. Good move. Poor move, just losing time. Good. So now you're up a pawn. c3. Good move. King f7. King g3. Good move. Good move. Good move. You say, I'm pretty sure this was a mistake, but better options than trading rooks did not come to mind. I think my only chance was to keep the rook. Okay. I just want to say this is very hot. We're going to go into a pawn ending. And I actually want to admit, I thought we were up a pawn. Turns out we're not. Turns out we're not up a pawn. Why did I think that? I don't know. Because so many pawns earlier were hung. So, yes, in this case, rook e2 is a big mistake. If we were up a pawn, it would be fine. So now we are probably toast. All right, here we go. g3, h5. Okay. He's threatening h4, so we got to go h4. a6, good move. He's just going to wait until you have to move. Good play by black. And now you're roasted. Okay. So, couple things. As I said, you're looking at the wrong stuff, Haifisch. Haifisch is the shark in German. There's a great Rammstein song about the hai. You're looking at the wrong things. Okay, you're hanging coconuts. It's expected. You're at this level. You're going to be hanging coconuts. Okay. And why did I think you were up a pawn? Because he gave one back to you. Because he, all kinds of things here. Because you lost this pawn and then he gave it back to you. Or I don't know. You won the pawn and then he gave you. You didn't have to give it. You didn't have to give it. Okay, great. Hi, fish. Just trust me. Just trust me. Forget about the openings and stuff. Look at this. Hi, fish. We go back one. He doesn't have any My Games folders, but he's got a Rui Lopez one, a Rui Lopez exchange, bro. What are we doing? What are we doing? I do like the Galaga, though. I like that. Next up, we got Curve. "26, from the Netherlands, playing chess since 25. Been playing a ton since then. Recently joined a club where I play one classical game per week OTB. Beautiful. Now, looks like he basically just joined. So we're expecting probably not a lot going on with games and all that. But he's got a game submitted today. So welcome to the dojo. Great you're doing this. You should log it in your heat map that you had a game. No clock times again. Oh, so it's OTB. Beautiful. You can write down the times when you do OTB. All right, so we're going to go game review. Fine. You're developing. I can't complain. Knight 2 is a little weird, but okay. Fine. Knight B5 is a little weird, but I don't mind. You have a threat. And now you say, thank you very much. And now Knight C3 is a little weird. You say, moving my knight because I want to have more control of E4 and potentially go Knight B5. Okay. I don't mind. E8. E1. Makes me a little nervous because you're encouraging E5. But when he plays E5, you do a very grandmasterly thing and you don't take it. And I think that's very impressive that you don't take it. Because now, if he takes, the pawns will be nasty. And if he pushes, the pawns will be nasty. So he needs to try to hold this position for black. Hold the pawns where they are. And it's not so easy. I like that move a lot. Yeah. So very strong play. And here we have A6. This was a blunder. Now you have bishop F6. Great. However, you are going to get a nice position with bishop D7. Very importante, if you had written down the times, also you should write down what the time control was. That would be very fortunate. Good. One thing we'll say about bishop B7 is you probably were just so happy that you ruined his structure that you weren't thinking about how you could get more. Very common thing that happens in GM's games too. Queen F3, okay, I like Queen H5 better, but Queen F3 is fine. Knight A4, I think is weird. I played Knight A4 with the thought of hitting the B6 pawn, and I was expecting B5, which would allow me to go to Knight B6, which seemed like a nice square. In hindsight, I should have played Rook D1. Simple and strong. Simple and strong, that's right. Another idea that we should consider is Knight E2, G3, looking at this nice fatty F5 square. Then we can maybe create some mate threats. Okay. Good that you didn't take it. You should just go back, right? Knight B6, Rook B8. All right, he steals our business. Uh-oh. Terrible blunder. Ay, Chihuahua. Now, one of the things we'll say is the whole game you were obsessed about his double pawns, and so when he finally took, you were like, oh, I got him. I got him. And then boom. Boom. Okay, that was sad but true, as they say. That was sad but true. I loved your development in the early part of the game. I thought bishop b5, GM level move, because you're disrupting the coordination here with these beautiful dual pins. Right? Okay. They will blunder their stuff. It's not a question. They will do it. All right, so ba-bam, ba-bam, ba-bam. Let's get out of here. And we got Azazel. Azazel. And Azazel has graduated numerous times. And look at this. Dude, Azazel is on it. Let's expand this. Just take a look. Dang. Dang. Check out Azazel, bro. The man is working. All these different weeks, he's putting in the time. So very impressive. He's gone up a bunch. Joined October last year and then has just been committed. Clubs. Oh, loads. Looks like he's in Chicago. Games. Let's take a look. And here he is playing a recent game against a player named Workjob. Let's see if we got a time graph. We do. Now, unless someone's up a piece at move 15, we're going to say these guys did what the kids now call a crash out. Maybe that's what I'm going to start calling. Now, if you look online, a crash out is like when somebody kind of loses their minds. Start yelling in public or something. But here, the crash out is you just have no energy left and then you just start making random moves. Okay. Some nice notes here. Let's get into L game review. Good, fine, 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 okay, fine, fine. You're doing great. So, as he thinks for a while, this is a very well-known theoretical position. It's called the Tarrasch opening. Many different moves for black here. But we should say, for you, we just want you to develop. And what have you been doing? You've been developing. So you're doing great. Good. And now bishop e3, which is a very ambitious move. I think it's okay. Poor. But on a GM level, poor. For this level, I don't think it matters too much. Good move. Developing your queen. You're doing great. Castles. And here, I assume you could take the pawn, but I like what you did. It's just very safe. And he says, I like it. Just sticking to principles, continuing to develop. Thank you very much. Rook b8, soft. And you said, thank you very much. I like it a lot. And you said, I'm coming back around to downtown. And you should trade queens. Very good. And you should take that pawn. Very good. Okay, so from a GM level, this is a winning position. Okay? And here, though, you know, we've seen many games where just being up a couple pawns isn't necessarily the end of the game. All right. I think rook ac1 can't be bad. Okay. f3, really good move. Oh, yeah. I was going to suggest f3 on the last move, and I was like, maybe that's a little too highfalutin for the guy. You know, I don't want to make it too abstract at this level. But f3, doing exactly what you're saying, is definitely the move. Give our king some space, threaten this bad boy, get the bishop. At some point, play e4. We have extra pawns on both wings. We're going to try to slowly advance them. We're in no hurry. We're in no hurry. Okay, bishop f5 doesn't do anything. What do I want you to do? I want you to play e4. That's a little fast for me, and it looks to me like you're hanging this coconut, or at least it's going to be complicated, so we don't want that. We just want simplicity with e4. Poor. Poor. You know, he's just letting you trade everything. You say thank you very much. Now b4. Good move. Now king f2. Okay, e4 is fine. a5. Oh, just this perfect. 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 I love e5. Yes. Yes. This is what I'm talking about. Now, when we got to move 15, they both started playing super fast. Remember when I showed that graph? And I guarantee you can play better moves. Your opponent especially, because your opponent just played all kinds of nasty things that didn't provide any real resistance. Good move. f4, very nice. I love it. Of course, you could do other things, but I think this is GM level because you hold on to your grip of the stopping the king from doing anything. That doesn't do nothing. Ooh, I don't like that. I like it less. I want you to just bring your king in, pop the bishop, and run. Of course, you're still winning. Ooh, nice move. Nice move. Yeah, buddy. H5. That's right. That isn't it. Now we got what's called the two runners. A6. Oh, yeah, resigns. That was a great game. That was a great game. And so, Azazel, one of the things I want to stress that was really nice is you won the battle of development. And one of the reasons you were able to snack on some pawns was the guy wasn't developed. And he, just kept on helping you develop. The pawns were hanging. You took those pawns. And he wasn't thinking long enough, nearly. Okay, there you actually here. Go back. This is the time graph. So as we go up the cohorts, we're going to see that, obviously people are going to get better, but a lot of the same themes will be there. For example, hanging stuff. There'll be a lot less hanging stuff, but until we get to around 1200 dojo rating, we're not going to see, we're still going to see a lot of hanging stuff. And we're going to see a lot of people hanging tempi like this guy does. So this is great. This is like a model game for how we should execute these people. Granborg says we call them the trousers, the two outside pawns, right? Yep. Now we got Mauve Steel. So Mauve Steel says, very happy to be graduating again. I've had to take some time off over the summer with some family and work stuff, but I'm back and ready to get stuck into chess. Played my first OTB in the summer. Great, played well on the first day, came back next day exhausted. Please can you remove my game with Graham, member of the dojo? OTB member from the game of the tournament. Great. So here we go, Mauve Steel. Mauve Steel has graduated numerous times. Danielle from London. In London, we got a couple players for sure. Now, one of the things we'll just observe is we can see that was her break. That was Danielle's break that she talked about, but she's come back. And really cool to see this rating, the ECF rating over here, 916. So what do I mean? As we go up the ladder, we're going to see more and more people choosing their preferred rating to be OTB. Okay, great. So, clubs, London Dojo. Maybe this person, Graham. Let's see if we find a Graham in there, actually. We'll see if he's in there. Oh, there's Matt. Matt's helping us out. We got Mauve Steel. And this person, Graham, might, of course, have a different name. But that's the famous London Dojo. Okay, so we're going to go games. We're going to look for Graham. There he is. Recent game, recently uploaded. We're going to look over here, and we're going to see at the clock. Oh, very nice. So, playing a dojo or over the board, really cool. And something I've said it already, but I really want to stress it. Part of the dream of the dojo is that dojoers will meet in real life and do... It's so cool because you get, first of all, a social thing, but you also get like a training partner, somebody you can reflect on the journey with. So really cool. Maybe you travel to some tournaments together, something like that, Okay, so another thing, as we go up the ladder, we're going to see longer games. This is beautiful to see in 1 hour plus 30. We're going to see also better time management. Now, we can criticize them as moving a little too fast, but as you can see, it's not the worst. We've seen a lot worse recently. Okay, so let's do game review. Papow. And we'll go here. So far, so good. Knight c6, in general, a mistake. Maybe you could do it. But the grief now is black has to be worried about d5. So snip, snap, and now I think the only reasonable move now is d5. e6, love your move, d5. Now, you could say, Cry, you told us not to be moving the pawns all the time. But what we're doing is we're going to try to undevelop black's knight. Bishop d4. I like knight c3 better than bishop d2, but this is still great. And I don't like this. And you're right, I was perhaps a bit overcautious here and didn't need to trade queens. I was worried about a knight jump. Okay. So let's consider that, actually. First of all, I appreciate your concern. I do. Because it is a little annoying. But notice that black really isn't threatening anything. And if they take, they're just going to develop our business. Okay? So, for example, you got a bunch of different moves. A simple one might be just bishop c3, saying to Mr. Knight, are you going to take me or what? If they take you, you go here. At some point, they're probably going to, they can't play d6 until they take. And we're going to threaten this after we castle. So they're going to need to take here someday. And then we gain another developing tempo on them like that. So, right, I think very good critique on yourself there. Okay. Knight e2. Notice, yeah, you're concerned about the knight d4 stuff. Okay. Boom, boom. Developing your... I think black ultimately shouldn't trade queens because they're helping you develop when you play knight e2. Snip, snap. Good. Knight b4. Now, we have a little bit of a situation, but black is the one now who is not going to be developing their pieces, right? In principle, I like this. Sure, they get a pawn, but we get all this development. Castles. Good. Good. You're doing great. Castles, you call this equal. I think I'd rather be white. Good move. Little soft, knight b6. And then you just say thank you very much. Now, I want to stress, this is happening because he hasn't developed his pieces that good. You talk about knight c6. I think knight c6 is a little weird because he's hanging his stuff. I think b6 would be the main question. Can he find a way to develop? Right? So, knight b6 blunder. And you say clear advantage to white. I think it's over. Because it's not just a piece. Like, black owes you time. These knights are amazing. Good move. Good move. Simple chess. Good move. This was a bit of a wasted tempo as I already moved this rook. And you talk about rook e8. You could also make a move like g3 just to give yourself a little luft, But you know what? You're fully in control here. I would have preferred rook takes f6 for sure. Right. This is now getting a little weird. Okay, you're still in control. Knight c7, please. Very good. Rook e2. Now, I'm a little nervous, of course, because we let the rook in. So now we got to be a little careful. b4. I'm okay with this move. Good. All right, now let's give us a luft. Good move. Check to the miserable king. Okay. I don't know where he's going. King g2. Good move. Check to the miserable king. Check to the miserable king. Rook e5. Good. Okay. Nice and safe. Of course, you could also play knight g7. It's a little weird to me, but you are in full control of the position. I don't know what the knight's doing. So here we want you to think about a little deeper about what's going on in this position. I don't know what knight c7 does. One way to play the position might be knight g7 to f5. And, you have more stuff, so you should be able to take out some of those pawns. The knight's now weird on a6. Very persistent. And now this makes me very nervous. Okay? But you do find an amazing sequence here. Let's look at it. Boom, boom, boom. And now the nice knight b5. Knight b5, excellent. Very nice. I want to stress, though, Danielle, you have made this more complicated than it needed to be. Okay. King c5. King F3. Now, there's a variety of ways to play this. My basic instinct would be to play F4, take, and play H4. That way we're just telling black, hey, buddy, I'm going to run, and your king better leave my knight alone. You better king. I don't want your king talking to my knight. I want to be running. Okay, so king b4 or b5 is really what black should be thinking about. Check the miserable king. Thank you very much. Thank you. Ooh, that's frisky. Very nice move. Connected past pawn. Now, again, a little more complicated than we need it to be. But I like what you're doing. Look at that. Simple chess. Simple chess. Ooh, that's mean. That's mean, Danielle. Ooh, that's mean. Oh, that's mean. Whoo! Yeah, and she says, all my king and pawn study has paid off. Yes, indeed. So very nice game. And really cool. Let's look at this Danielle here. So she's done a lot of work. And, you know, I'm guessing maybe, well, I don't know when she started playing the OTB, but you can see she's made good progress here with this recent tournament. And hopefully that will continue. So that was a very nice game. Very nice game now in the 900 to 1,000 cohort. Okay, next up we have Tower Cam. Tower Cam says, Tower Cam? After a long time, my first real graduation. I had a lot of fun with material in my cohort, and I'm impressed what changed on the website in the last couple of months. You're all doing an amazing job. What really improved my thinking was the first book of Morphy and the idea of giving up material for the better position or the stronger attack. It's almost a year that I'm a member of the dojo, and I'm looking forward to many more to come. Oh, fantastic. Is the ChessDojo on mobile? We're working on it. That's where, you know, we got 42 dev projects. We need somebody to help us out with the dev. So, Tower Cam, he's in the 1,000, 1,100. Really, though, he could graduate again. Let's just pop out this amazing work that he's doing there. Tower Cam, dude, he's working. He's working. Done 205 hours in the last year. Fantastic. 430 points of gain. Looking good. Okay. So, boom. And we're going to look at some clubs over here. European, German dojo. As again, Towercom, it would be great if you told us like where in Germany, maybe, you know, get your own club from Sindelfingen or wherever it is that you're at. Okay, games. My games. We got loads here. This is pretty recent. And this looks like an online game. Let's see if we got times. Oh, buddy. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no. As you guys see, like the time problem, it doesn't really necessarily go away. Yeah. Okay, let's take a look. Go game review. Good. Fine. 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 Now, is this true? It says he offers a draw. Did he actually offer a draw? I mean, I don't know. That'd be weird. Good move so far. Normally here we'd play knight b6. Okay, this is probably playable to play e6 though. Takes, I don't like it. Fixes your bishop. Queen b3. Not a great move because of knight a5. So, good move. And now dude, I guess has to play bishop b5. Blunder. Big time blunder. b3, bishop b5. White left the game. He left the game twice. No message in the chat when he came back. I waited in total 30 minutes for him and now just claimed victory. Okay, so Tower Cam. That's a This is, by the way, this is more than a big advantage. This is over. You're crushing this fool. While disappointing, Thauercam, let's just say that the level you're at, you will get a bunch of games like this, and this is going to lead to your rating increase. Obviously, not every game is going to be this easy. We also want to say that you live in Germany, where there's amazing opportunities to play in clubs, and you're not going to get this kind of experience in an OTB situation. And also, the OTB will help your chess more. Okay. And sometimes playing online can be a bummer. There'll be like some weird harassment. I feel it's harassment when somebody abandons the game, for example. And, maybe you'll run into a cheater, yada, yada. In any case, Thauercam, you're doing great. You're doing great over here. And you're doing the work, so I very much appreciate it. An IT nerd addicted to coffee. I'm just addicted to coffee. I don't got the IT. Maybe you can help us develop our own IT. All right, there's a thing in German called Sturm und Drang, and this dude's going to be Chess and Drang. So let's go do Chess and Drang. So, maybe nothing on the heat map. Started playing in 22. Wants to deepen his understanding of the game. Great. Let's go clubs. No clubs. Let's go my games. Nothing. So we definitely don't want to do 15-10 games. He doesn't have it yet either. So kind of a weird profile, honestly, because he started here, it says, in 23. Now, I think a lot of times what happens is people join the dojo and come back for any variety of reasons. Like they let their membership lapse because life happened or whatever. Maybe they felt it was too expensive at the moment. Or maybe in 23 they were like, this website sucks. Maybe they came back because the website was better. I don't know. But in any case, we have several people like this. And it's of course I want him to come back and be engaged with the program. So that's what I'm hoping for. Chess and Drang. Bang. Next up, we got Mula. And Mula has also not engaged in any work here, at least recently. If I pop this out, let's see, pop. So yeah, Muller hasn't logged anything on the heat map anyway. Clubs, nothing. Games, nothing. So Mula, we know what you need, buddy. We need some work. We need to put this in. Also notice in 2024. So maybe he just was like, I got up, I did my rating graduation, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to go back into the dojo. I haven't been there a while. I'll log my beautiful rise. Okay, beautiful. Next up, we got Lucas. Holy moly, I'm crushing this all of a sudden. Well, it's because a lot of people didn't have games. We got Lucas. Lucas says, happy to be graduating for the second time so soon. It's not easy when you get up this high, by the way. I feel like my sense of the board has improved considerably over the past few months, although I still frequently miss my opponent's tactics, especially pins, which give me headaches. Hopefully, I'll sort that out eventually. Really enjoying the training program. Beautiful. So, here we go. Look at that thing, man. Lucas, he's doing the work, bro. He's doing the work. This is really great. Okay, I like it. Lucas, what club's you in? The Coders and European Dojo. If you want to help the dojo out with some side projects, some side hustle at the dojo, we need you, buddy. Games. Oh, Lucas, please have a game, buzz. Here we go. This is Johansson. This was played a couple months ago. Do we got a time graph? Oh, we do. So one of the things that's interesting, I want people to just notice, is when we get a little higher rated, we often see a little bit more of the turtle. Okay? Now, the turtle is just as bad as the rabbit. But the main thing is that to just observe is in the lower cohorts, we're dealing with people generally moving too fast. If there's a problem in the higher cohorts, it's generally people moving too slow, if there's a problem, right? And so here we can see that both of these guys, hectic time treble, but like we saw in summer cons, you got 30-second increment. You can live on that. This is a dojo round robin, so that's really cool. Let's get into the game. Ba-bam. Good. Good. The Tarash, okay, variety of weights, good. You say, after the game, I learned that this is not the most principled move. However, let me just say it's fine. It's fine. Loads of super GMs have played this move. Fine. Bishop d6. And if you want to get real fancy here, what a lot of players do now is they take and then play a3, b4. But this is okay. Now he might do it to you. Fine. 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 You're doing great. Little strange. Okay. Notice it didn't really help too much. And now what black needs to understand here is that d4 is a good move, and also the very simplistic bishop g4. Okay? So, really, ultimately, a waste of time. And you write that. Right? So, one of the things I want to say is, when you get to this level, we're at a point where players aren't going to drop pieces, but they will drop tempi. Okay? And this one's a big one to drop here. All right, white needs a good move. Let's see if they find it. Good move. I like it a lot. Yeah, I like it a lot. Beautiful move. We want to blockade this square. It doesn't do anything. Good move. Now, I don't like it, but, I understand. Now, in general, knight d4 is fine. In general, though, we always want to trade the minors when we're playing against the IQP. Okay. Okay, I like rook ad1 as well. I don't understand what he's doing. Queen h5, we're getting a little frisky. g6, that wasn't it. Queen h6, we got a little harmony going on in this attack over here. Knight e5, and here you write on knight takes c6. There was no need to take. The reason I did it was that I thought following up with f4 would win me the knight, but only later I saw bishop e3 would refute it. Bishop e2 definitely seems good. And one curious question I have is, what about f4 now? You write, this would have been a crushing move had I moved the king out of the a1, a7, g1 diagonal before. Knight d3, and you write knight f5. Wouldn't we want to play knight here, though? Bishop e3, king, knight, rook, rook, bishop, and now he unfortunately has that move, saving his soul. Saving his soul, okay? Good, that's the thing we want to look at. In general, black has committed enough crimes that he just deserves to die, right? He deserves death, death in the highest order. Bishop e2 is probably fine. Snip, snap, bishop b1. And you say bishop e2, the right move. Okay, I don't... It's hard to argue with bishop b1. All right, f6, here we go. And now rook fd1. So our issue is that the knight c4 is coming. Notice if you had the bishop on e2, I really don't want to take it when it gets there. I have no interest really in taking it. I'm just staring at this for a second. It's truly a little difficult. I feel strongly that you have a good move here, but I'm going to admit that I don't see it right away either. Okay, I'm not allowed to spend forever. My instinct, though, would be rook takes h4. And on knight c4, I'm going to think about bishop g6, but I'm first going to play this move. And I'm going to claim this is very dangerous for black indeed, because I got h5 coming. Yeah, and I got a potential bishop g6 coming. Is it over? I don't know, but it looks very tantalizing. Very tactical, too. Even this move we got to watch out for. But the party doesn't stop there, because I could play bishop g6. I could play rook e1. I cannot take. That's the only thing I can't do. I could play h5. All these things are on the table. Okay? So rook fd1. He blunders. I totally agree with you. Knight c4 is more annoying. Good. Knight e3. This is terrible. Big question would have been bishop b8. Very good. Pin and win. Chess is an easy game. And he helps us trade it off. Look at those beautiful bishops. Look at those beautiful bishops. And at this level, my friends, well, he's gonna convert. The man's gonna convert. Okay. Well done. Yeah, well done. Okay, I'm starting to get a little loopy, and I don't know if we're going to finish. We have a dojo meeting at 2, so I got 4 left. Maybe I finish, maybe I don't. If I don't, I'm not going to get all excited about it. I'll do it tomorrow if I can. Klein this is our first FIDE of the day. Looks they joined in April, but haven't really done much. So let's just see. Games, I don't think we got anything going on. Well, Mr. Klein, we hope that you do something in the scoreboard or the heat map and you give us some games. Next up, we got T-Dref. T-Dref has gone up manically here, but also has basically not done any work, or at least hasn't recorded what they're doing, so we don't know. All right, we might get done with the show. Here we got Aoi 1. These people are people who have worked, and you can just see it here. This is somebody who's putting in the work, joined in May, and boom, 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 they're doing it. So this all looks great. Looks very good. Clubs. Aoi 1, tell us something about yourself. Do we got some games? We do. And classical game in the regional competition with my club. Time control is 90-30. And opponent rated SCF. I don't know what SCF. So, Klaus Agata versus Owen. I'm just trying to find out. Maybe I don't know. The SCF is some local thing that I don't know what it is. Here's the time management. As you can see, he was most concerned with his own, and then just maybe every 5 or 10 moves did his opponent's time, which is fine. And very good time usage. Remember what I said. As we get better, we'll use the time more. We'll use it more. Use it better. Like you can see here, black. So, fine. Weird. Knight c6 makes a lot of sense. Okay. Weird. Finally, yeah. You're still doing fine. That looks like a blunder. And now you play rook b8. And I'm pretty sure this is, you put this into Lee chess, because this is Lee chess's language here. It always says inaccuracy, d5 was best. And here it says inaccuracy, ed4 was best. But what you need to see here is he's hanging a pawn. Actually, he's not quite hanging a pawn because he could take back with the knight. But that's a nice position for you then, if he takes back with the knight. Rook b8's weird. b5, weird. Okay. Okay. Generally poor for them to take. Interesting. And now you playing bishop h3. Think about it. That bishop, it's not the greatest piece on earth. And I think the reason you're doing is you're saying, I want to attack him or something. Yeah, it's not. You're not attacking him. You're not doing anything over there. Bishop g2, king g2. Now you're maybe a little bit worse. Queen e6, inviting knight c5. He doesn't do it. Good. Okay. He should have maybe played knight c5. Now his knight's funny. Good. Snip snap. Knight a5. Reasonable. You got to fix that knight anyway. Okay. Knight b7. Good. I like that you're fixing the knight. Snip snap. Your knight is better. Your knight is better than that knight on c1. Bishop c3. Now, I would call this a critical position. And the question is really the one you address in the notes about knight e4. Let's read your note. You say, knight e4. I looked at this during the game, but thought that two pieces were more valuable than the rook and pawn. It would have made the endgame interesting, but I didn't want to risk it. Okay. So this is a little bit, I guess I would call it chess understanding. And the thing to see is the rook gets more powerful, as the game progresses. Right? The board opens up. In a lot of positions, the rook is more powerful than the two minors even. Now, that doesn't say you're winning or anything. My gut as to the best play here would be f5. You have that. And I think he needs to play queen e2. But then e4, wins. Okay, good. So this is already kind of hard. If e4, he's got knight d4, but then you're going to take this coconut. So yeah, this is great. This is great. E4, though, he could play knight d2, right? That would be our question. And I like black. The extra pawn is a real bully. And the point is to say, I think black's a little bit better in this position. And in this position, I don't know what we're doing. Okay, good move. He needs to fix, attack that blockader. Good move. And now you should definitely play f6. Here you guys go back and forth. f6 dominates the bishop. This is a waste of time. So definitely f6. I think you were prejudiced against somehow weakening the king. But you're doing okay. You don't have to worry about that. They went back and forth. It says, my first game by repetition. I drew my game, but the team won the match. Overall, a very even game. I used my time well, did not make any big mistakes. This was the main goal for me, as lately I've been losing focus 1.5 hours into these games and playing too fast. Beautiful. At the same time, perhaps I could have been more aggressive in looking for an attack. Looking forward, my main focus is to keep taking my time, forcing myself to concretely think. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so this is Owen, and the SCF rating. Okay, Cry needs to know. Where is the SCF chess rating from? I wouldn't have guessed. It's the Singapore Chess Federation. Okay, there we go. Cool. I wasn't thinking about that at all in Singapore. I've learned something. Beloved bookkeeper, thank you for being here. Fauger correctly guessed the Singapore Chess Federation. All right, so I'm going to mark that as reviewed. I think we have one more. I think we're going to make it. We got Lord Rook. I can't imagine we finish this thing today. Lord Rook says, I got tempted to hop around to various resources here and there. For a while, I studied seriously with chessable courses like the Shanklin method, but I felt that working only from the screen somehow made me worse. I reverted back to training over the board with books the dojo recommended, and my mind has turned back on again, especially with Think Like a Super GM. Great book. I believe this graduation may be a bit premature, but I'm eager to face stronger opposition and let the sting of defeat drive me to greater heights. Okay, here we go. So if you make it to 1913, bud, you have made it. You have made it. Maybe you go down, but if you make it, you make it. And you got a really nice rating graph coming here. You got loads of good work happening here. So a well-earned graduation. And 37, hoping he makes it. And he's aiming for the U.S. rating of 2,200. That's a little out there, bro. but I like it. I would say for where you are now, the goal of expert, also known as 2,000, is a good one. Charles says, I need a nap. I need a nap. It's been, my eyes hurt after a while, bro. Okay, here we go. Clubs. Lifting heavy things. Have I said this already? This club is way overrepresented for people who make progress. Woo! All right. We need a statistical analysis of which clubs graduate the most. Stat analysis of which clubs graduate most. I'm going to say just anecdotally, that is me just doing this grad show. It is definitely this. I would be interested in the analysis, though, because, hey, I want to know. I want to know what other clubs are out there that are crushing it. Well, it wouldn't be the one with the most members. It would be graduations per member, right? And this guy's only got 34, but I swear I go in here and I see it all the time. All right, here we go. Games. We got loads, and this is a recent one, but bam. We got a time graph. Look at that time graph. Very nice. Very nice. And you can see Lord Rook was living off the increment there. Sometimes that happens, but, still a reasonable use of their time. With that 30 seconds, you can survive on it. And our dream would be, if this was a critical position, that we made the right moves and then survive the rest of the way out. Sometimes we lose. But, obviously there's a little bit too much here, but still. All right, beautiful. Black had a great time management. Let's go game review. So he's played 2 games, and he always played the Sicilian. Here we get a Caro. Fine. I came up with the plan of getting my bishop to the long diagonal. Let's call it the London diagonal. Good. I don't like that move. Now you spent 11 minutes on that move. And what do you need to do? You need to be playing knight d2. If e5, I get it. It's a little funky, but then you take and play bishop b5 check. That's not a developing move. e6. Knight f3. I think that's making your life easier to take. Good. Now you got a classic Carlsbad position. a6, queen c2. Fine. Okay. Bishop h4. Good. e8. Now I want the rook on e1. Very nice. And now knight h5. I didn't see this coming at all, and I didn't understand it until I noticed the f4 square, looking a bit tender, but I wasn't convinced. This is a pretty standard idea, really, from Black. He's just going to affect this trade, and, if I force you to play something like g3, then my knight can go back. But you still have all of the advantages of a Carlsbad position. Good move. Knight e5, frisky. And you write g3, which would be my intuition. And this position is definitely better for white. Notice it's not just better because the isolated pawn, but also because the black knight must give us a tempo. So knight e5. Here he comes. And if we're going to do this, we don't want to play g3 now, because now he just takes our bishop. He takes that one first. We play de. I guess rook e5 would be my instinct. And then we can double. And then even though it's just rooks on the board, we can try to create some zhuzh on the king side. Snip, snap. Queen b6. Rook e2. Good move. Rook c8. Okay. Nice centralization. He doesn't know what he's doing. a3, fine. Oh, rook a1. Got to play a3. Got to play a3. We cannot be playing rook a1. f4 makes me nervous because you're opening up the king. This is making me nervous. So now black is better because the king, his king is better. Simple chess from black. I mean, we're in big trouble now. We're in big trouble. Here. Now, rook c4. I think there should be more annotations here. And rook d3 looks like a real powerful move, threatening to invade, and we can't go rook e3 because of rook d2. Okay. I think you should think about queen f3. Maybe he'll give you a queen trade. Uh-oh, we hung a pawn. So we don't want to hang a pawn. And we need to play something like a3. Now we're in trouble. All right, b3. I thought this was a good idea so I can free my position somewhat. Okay. I don't know. I mean, he's just going to come back and he's owning you on the d file. At some point, he's going to find rook d3. Okay, good. At least it's a little making it complicated. He should still be playing rook d3. He should be trying to mate you, not win the pawn. I don't know. Okay. Check to the miserable king. You run. Now, objectively, we should be getting mated here, but this might make his task a little bit harder to deal with here. Queen f2. Yeah, it's not easy. Queen d1, king h3. Yep, it's not easy. Check to the queen. Queen c1. You talk about rook c2. Should be winning too. Okay. Oh, spicy. You might as well try it. Now, what's wrong with gf5? I don't know. He goes here and you say this. Absolutely what we should be dreaming of. To try to get some counterplay. He looks like a blunder. Blundericious. Thank you. Thank you. And in time pressure, black is the one who blows it. And now with 30-second increment, we are easily winning. Skebek says, my life seems empty after each super tournament is over. Woo! Okay. So, my friends, that was the grad show. This, if you don't know, is the ChessDojo site. Let's just show you this amazing Lord Rook. If you look at his training plan, look how beautiful this is. Actually, we got to go over here, show it in the right format. It's been a long one. I feel a little sorry for myself. Need to close my eyes, but we're gonna leave it there. We're gonna raid somebody. Raid. Loads of people out there. There's somebody named Uncle Jesse. I don't know Uncle Jesse. I gotta raid that guy. Thank you, blah, blah. Let's go raid Uncle Jesse. Who is this person? Are they naming themselves after me or after the Dukes of Hazzard show from back in the day? Yeah, beloved bookkeeper doesn't know about Dukes of Hazzard, even though it's one of her, she's a southerner, got that southern accent, and it's a southern show. Bye, everybody.